Welcome to Tiny Home Reveal. Think you can place a tiny house anywhere? The answer might surprise you. Let's begin the reveal. You just spent $80,000 on your dream tiny house. It's perfect. It's everything you imagined. And you are ready to finally park it and start a new life. And then a letter arrives from the county. You have 30 days to vacate the property or face fines of up to $1,000 per day. Welcome to the single most important and most overlooked question in all of tiny house living. Where can you actually, legally, put the thing? Because here's what nobody tells you when you're watching those beautiful tiny house tours online. Buying or building a home is the easy part. Finding a legal place to put it, that's where dreams go to die, or, if you know what you're doing, where they truly begin. Today, we are breaking it all down. Foundation homes, homes on wheels, backyards, rural land, RV parks, tiny house communities, every single option. And I'm going to tell you which states are throwing the doors wide open in 2026, which ones will make your life miserable, and, most importantly, the exact steps you need to take before you put one single dollar into this journey. Hit that subscribe button and smash the notification bell right now. Because if you're serious about tiny house living, this channel is going to save you thousands of dollars and months of frustration. And stay with me till the very end of this video, because I've got a checklist and a state-by-state breakdown that you're going to want to screenshot. Trust me, let's go. Before we get into specific states and locations, you need to understand one thing that will save you from making a very expensive mistake. There is no single national tiny house law in the United States. None. Zero. The federal government has no rulebook that says, tiny houses go here. Instead, the entire legal landscape is controlled at the state, county, and city level, which means the rules can literally change from one zip code to the next. Let me give you a real example. You could live in a county in Texas that is almost NO zoning enforcement. Park your tiny house on your own land. No permits, no drama. Drive 20 minutes into the city limits. Completely different rules. Same state, same day. Completely different legal reality. And here's another layer that trips people up. There are two fundamentally different types of tiny houses in the eyes of the law, and they are treated very, very differently. Option 1. A tiny house on a permanent foundation. The law sees this basically like a small traditional home. It goes through standard building codes, zoning regulations, and usually qualifies as an ADU, an accessory dwelling unit, which opens up a lot of doors. Option 2. A tiny house on wheels, a THOW. The law, in most places, it looks at this and says, that's an RV, and that changes everything about where you can put it, how long you can stay, and whether you can live there full time. This THOW versus foundation distinction is the single most important thing to understand before you do anything else. So let's break down each path. If you build or place your tiny house on a permanent foundation, your legal options expand dramatically. Here's why. A foundation home can qualify as what's called an ADU, accessory dwelling unit. You've probably heard this term. It's the legal name for a secondary unit on a residential property, a backyard cottage, a granny flat, a guest house. And in 2026, the ADU movement is reshaping housing law across America. Here's the incredible news. As of 2026, ADUs are technically allowed in all 50 states. That said, how easy it is to build one varies enormously depending on where you are. The most ADU-friendly states right now, according to 2026 ADU law data, California, Oregon, Washington, Vermont, Maine, Colorado, Arizona, and Minnesota. These states have passed statewide laws that actually override restrictive local rules, meaning your city can't just say no without a real legal reason. California, in particular, is the gold standard. The state has passed more ADU legislation than anywhere else in the country. Local governments are largely prohibited from requiring owner occupancy, meaning you don't even have to live on the property to have an ADU. The state also created a $40,000 grant to reimburse ADU owners for construction costs. And California even allows you to sell your ADU separately from your primary house. That's huge. Oregon is right behind them. State law requires all cities with more than 10,000 residents to allow ADUs by right in residential zones. No parking mandates, reduced fees, and many cities like Portland have gone even further with additional incentives. Washington state passed legislation requiring most cities to allow up to 2 ADUs per single-family lot, one attached, one detached, without owner occupancy requirements. In Colorado, a 2024 law requires municipalities over 1,000 residents to allow ADUs by right in single-family zones, with capped permit fees. That's huge progress. Now, what about the building code side? Most tiny homes on foundations need to comply with what's called Appendix Q of the International Residential Code. This is the code section specifically written for tiny houses, homes 400 square feet and under. It sets standards for things like minimum ceiling heights of 6 feet 8 inches, sleeping loft access, stairs, emergency egress, the life safety stuff. Many states have adopted it, and if yours has, you're in a much better position. The bottom line on foundation homes: put on a permanent foundation, register properly, and in the right state, you've got one of the strongest legal positions a tiny homeowner can have. Now let's talk about the path that draws most people to tiny living in the first place: the home on wheels. The THOW, the tiny house on wheels. The appeal is obvious: mobility, freedom, the ability to literally drive your house to a new location. It sounds like the ultimate life upgrade. But here's the truth that the Instagram photos don't show you. Legally speaking, in most parts of the United States, your beautiful handcrafted tiny house on wheels is classified as a recreational vehicle, an RV, like a camper, like a motorhome. And that classification matters enormously, because RV rules are very different from residential housing rules. In many states and counties, full-time occupation of an RV on private property is either restricted or outright prohibited. This is why you hear stories of people living happily in their THOW for a year, and then suddenly getting a notice to vacate. So, where can you legally put a tiny house on wheels? Here are your main options in 2026. Option A: RV parks and tiny house communities. The most universally legal option for a THOW is an RV park or a dedicated tiny house community. Because those are classified as RVs, they're almost always welcome in spaces designated for RVs. And in 2026, many of these parks have modernized to specifically cater to tiny house owners. These parks offer the basics: water hookup, electrical connection, sewer. They're legal, they're established, and in many cases, they're surprisingly affordable. The catch: you don't own the land, you're renting a spot, and you may face restrictions on how long you can stay, what modifications you can make, and whether your specific THOW meets their requirements. Most parks require RVI certification or ANSI 119.5 standards. But as a starting point, RV parks are the path of least resistance for THOW owners. Option B: your own private land, where it gets interesting. Now this is what most tiny house dreamers actually want: their own piece of land, their own home, their own rules. And in some places, yes, this is absolutely possible. In the rural, unincorporated areas of states like Texas, the county often has little to no zoning authority. You own the land, you put your home on it, and as long as you're handling your water and septic responsibly, nobody's coming for you. This is what people call the Texas County loophole, and it's real. In states like Oregon and California, many counties specifically permit those as ADUs on residential land, meaning you can legally park your THOW in someone's backyard or on a property that already has a primary home and live there full-time. Portland, Oregon is a standout example. The city explicitly allows homeowners to host one occupied THOW on their property. In Washington state, you can be in a similar position in many counties, though the specific rules vary significantly between city and county jurisdictions. The critical thing to understand: even on your own private land, you usually need to check and comply with local zoning ordinances. If the zoning says residential single-family only, and those are classified as RVs, you could be violating zoning without knowing it. The rule of thumb: rural and unincorporated land equals much more flexibility. City limits equals much more regulation. Option C: a friend or family member's property. One of the most practical and underutilized options is simply asking a friend or family member if you can park on their property, in exchange for rent, work, or a long-term agreement. In many jurisdictions, A THOW parked at a residential address is permitted as long as it's used as a guest unit and not as a separate rental property. Some areas allow this without any permits at all. Others require the homeowner to apply for a backyard dwelling permit. The key thing here is to check the local rules before you make any arrangement. A homeowner who lets you park your THOW on their land without checking zoning could face fines themselves. Alright, you've been patient. Here's the part everyone actually came for. Let's go state by state, or at least the most important ones, so you know exactly where you stand. Green circle the most tiny house friendly states in 2026. Texas, for sheer flexibility, especially on rural land, Texas is one of the best. Most rural counties have almost zero zoning enforcement. Austin officially recognizes tiny homes as legal dwellings. And some cities like Spur have declared themselves outright tiny house friendly towns with no minimum size requirements. If your THOW is on wheels, Texas classifies it as an RV. So rural, unincorporated land is your friend here. California. Yes, it's expensive, but for legal protection and legislative support, California is the heavyweight champion of tiny living. Statewide ADU laws protect you in most residential zones. Owner occupancy requirements are largely gone. A $40,000 construction grant exists. Foundation tiny homes as ADUs are deeply supported, and many counties allow those as ADUs with proper permits. The law is on your side in California more than almost anywhere else. Oregon. Progressive housing policies have made Oregon consistently one of the top states. Portland allows those on residential properties. Statewide laws require cities to permit ADUs in residential zones. Oregon is especially good for people who want the urban tiny life without constant legal battles. Washington passed legislation in 2023 that significantly expanded ADU rights statewide. Most cities must now allow at least 2 ADUs per single-family lot. The state is tiny house friendly on foundations, and many counties are progressively opening up to those. Colorado. A strong recent legislative push has made Colorado increasingly welcoming. Counties have clear pathways for those in some areas, and the 2024 state law requiring municipalities to allow ADUs has made foundation tiny homes much more viable. Maine passed one of the most progressive housing laws in the country, requiring municipalities to allow ADUs and expanding housing options on single-family lots. Rural land in Maine offers significant flexibility. A great pick if you want a Pacific Northwest feeling on the East Coast. Tennessee has adopted Appendix Q of the International Residential Code, which creates clear legal standards for tiny homes on foundations under 400 square feet. Several communities are specifically tiny house friendly, particularly those focused on ecotourism. Rural counties offer significant flexibility. North Carolina, a very friendly state overall, especially for foundation tiny homes. Most counties allow tiny homes that meet state standards, with minimum sizes as low as 150 square feet for one occupant. Many counties also accept those in appropriate zones. Yellow circle the mixed bag states. Proceed with research. Florida's rules are mixed, but rapidly improving. The Florida Senate has shown strong support in 2026 for legislation easing the path for small backyard homes. Cities like Orlando and Miami are updating codes for higher density through tiny homes. Foundation homes are widely approved. Those are trickier. Many counties classify them strictly as RVs, but the trend is moving in the right direction. Georgia is warming up in a big way. In 2026, House Bill 1166 aims to legalize small homes statewide by overriding local zoning restrictions that previously prohibited them. Atlanta allows ADUs up to 750 square feet. Rural counties are generally supportive for foundation homes. Montana adopted Appendix Q back in 2019, which is a good foundation for tiny home legislation. Rural land offers great flexibility. Those are typically classified as RVs, which restricts them to RV parks and campgrounds in most counties. But with vast open land and a growing tiny house culture, Montana has real appeal. Nevada passed legislation in 2021 requiring cities over 150,000 to create zoning provisions for tiny homes. Still evolving, but moving in the right direction. Red circle the tougher states. Know what you're getting into. New York. Dense population centers in New York rely on rigid zoning. Those face strong restrictions in most areas. Minimum size requirements are common. That said, individual cities may offer exceptions. New Jersey, strict building codes and minimum dwelling size requirements make tiny home placement genuinely difficult here. Do your research carefully at the county level before committing. South Carolina. Many counties require minimum sizes that exceed typical tiny home dimensions. Those are largely classified as RVs. Louisiana. Zoning codes classify most those strictly as RVs, making full-time living difficult outside designated parks. The message here isn't that tiny houses are illegal in these states. It's that the path is harder, more local, more research intensive. Individual cities may surprise you. Always verify at the local level. Now let me be very clear about something, because I don't want you to brush past this section thinking it won't happen to you if you place your tiny house somewhere without checking the zoning laws. If you assume it's fine, if you go by what someone told you online, if you just hope for the best, here's what can actually happen to you. Daily fines. Some jurisdictions charge up to $1,000 per day for a non-compliant structure. Not per month, per day. That adds up to $30,000 in a single month. Forced removal. You may be required to physically move your home at your own expense. If you build on a foundation, that could mean demolition costs. Utility denial. Many cities will not allow water or electric hookups without a certificate of occupancy, so you could be left with a home you literally cannot live in. Financing and insurance problems. If your tiny home is placed on an illegal site, most lenders won't touch it, and your insurance may not cover you in the event of damage. I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying this because the people who succeed with tiny living are the ones who do the homework first. The legal landscape in 2026 is more favorable than it's ever been, but it still requires you to show up prepared. Alright, here's what I promised you. Your step-by-step checklist for placing a tiny house legally in 2026. Screenshot this. Write it down. Use it. Step 1. Decide your home type first. Are you going foundation or THOW? This is your most important decision because it determines everything else. Which laws apply, what land you can use, how you get utilities, and how lenders and insurers will treat you. Step 2. Identify your jurisdiction. Are you looking at land inside city limits or in an unincorporated county area? These two situations can have completely different rules, even on adjacent parcels of land. Unincorporated is almost always more flexible. Step 3. Contact your local zoning or planning department directly. Not Google, not a forum, not a Facebook group. Call or visit your county or city planning department and ask specifically about accessory dwelling units, secondary dwellings, or manufactured homes. Don't just ask about tiny houses. Many zoning codes don't use that phrase even when they cover the concept. Step 4. Check your state's building code for Appendix Q. Find out if your state has adopted Appendix Q of the International Residential Code. It's the legal framework designed specifically for homes under 400 square feet. If your state has adopted it, your path to a legal foundation home just got a lot clearer. Step 5. Verify utility access. Before you purchase any land, confirm that you can get legal access to water, electricity, and sewage, or that you're legally permitted to go off-grid. Landlocked parcels with no road access are a common and costly trap. Step 6. Get your certification in order for a THOW. If you're going wheels, make sure your home is certified either by RVA, Recreational Vehicle Industry Association, or meets ANSI 119.5 standards. Most RV parks and many counties will require this before they'll allow you to place or register your home. Step 7. Get everything in writing. If a zoning officer tells you verbally that you're allowed to do something, confirm it in writing. Verbal permissions don't protect you when a new officer takes over or a complaint is filed. Written documentation is your legal armor. Here's a placement option that I think is genuinely underrated, and that a lot of people overlook because they're so focused on finding their own private land. Dedicated tiny house communities. These are purpose-built neighborhoods, sometimes 20, 50, even 100 plus homes, designed specifically around tiny living. The legal work has already been done. The zoning is already figured out. The utilities are already in place. You literally just show up and plug in. And in 2026, these communities are growing fast, especially across Texas, the Pacific Northwest, the Southeast, and increasingly in the Midwest. Many are close to major cities. Some are designed around off-grid living. Others are intentional communities built around shared values, shared green spaces, and a genuine sense of neighborhood. The Tiny Home Industry Association maintains directories of legal tiny home communities across the U.S. A quick search through these directories will often surface options within driving distance of wherever you're looking. For a THOW owner especially, if you're just starting out and you want to get into your home quickly, legally, and without months of research, a tiny house community is often the fastest path from dream to front door. So, where can you legally put a tiny house? The honest answer, more places than ever before. The legal landscape in 2026 has genuinely shifted in your favor. More states are passing ADU laws. More cities are updating their zoning. More communities are being built specifically for tiny living. But, and I need you to hear this, the legal work comes before the purchase. Research your jurisdiction. Know your home type. Talk to your planning department. Get it in writing. Do it right. And Tiny Living delivers on every promise. Financial freedom, lower environmental impact, and a home that is entirely and completely yours. Skip the homework, and you could be staring at a $1,000 a day fine letter. And nobody wants that. Now, drop a comment below and tell me, which state are you looking at for your tiny home? I'm whipping the most popular answers, so everybody can see where the community is looking in 2026. And check out this video right here. I break down exactly what's inside a 2026 tiny house and why people are saying this is the smartest housing move you can make. I'll see you there.